That's the kind of stuff and the kind of matches that I want to be able to put on, because wrestling, again, the fans are so conditioned. They're going to see a cool move. This is awesome. Wow, this is great. But when you get that raw emotion where it's like almost that awkward silence, but it's a good awkward silence, and then they erupt and then they remember, like, "God, that was so tight. That was dope."
Some extra bonus content here for the YouTube channel with JR Kratos, of course, with NWA. And wait, are you still tag champs at this point? Where are we at?
No, I soon will be, though.
Okay.
No.
Okay, I couldn't remember where it was at.
No, not right now. I'm currently tagging with Odinson. We're the Immortals for the NWA, and yeah, we will be soon.
Yeah. You know what's funny about wrestling, and I hear it because there's a few podcasts that I listen to, like Eric Bischoff's or 83 Week or Bruce Pritchard's or somebody.
Oh yeah,
and they'll talk oftentimes about heels, like the bad guys.
They make the money,
like,
man.
They'll be like, yeah, then they tend to be the nicest guys. Which the first couple times that when I was working with you doing ring announcing, we didn't really get to know each other right away. It's probably like, oh, this guy will be gone in a couple of weeks. But once we did, I'm like, you were this heel role that got people really moving, man. And it was the irony of like, this is the sweetest, nicest person I've met in a long time.
This guy's a teddy bear. It's a trip, man. That's usually true. That's crazy. Is the ones on camera that convey the heels and do all that, they're usually the most genuine dudes, and the baby faces that are on camera are the assholes. It's like It's a trip. Not calling you guys all assholes. Don't get all riled up,
but some of them in history, as time has shown, that's just been a fact.
Our favorite wrestler,
right? Hey, it's all right. But so what's this experience like? I mean, you and I have had such an oddity in our friendship of when we met, I was a rock radio guy. I met your now boss, Billy Corgan, way back when.
Yeah.
Then kind of had, because of what I did, a little foyer into radio, but now you're working with one of the greatest in my opinion, greatest rock musician, songwriters in history.
I agree. And a very, very smart businessman.
Mm.
And I'm not kissing your ass, Billy.
No, that's a title of this clip.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
clickbait.
It'll be both of us, all right?
Yeah. It's cool, man. I'm in a great place with the NWA. Again, on camera, it's fantastic. Kudos to the writers and all the offices and everybody there. But the backstage aura, man, it's such a great place to be and to learn from. I've had the most influential conversations as a talent backstage in an NWA locker room. I think if I could say anything as I have this stage now to any talent that's coming there, is to take advantage of that. We have Hall of Famers back there. We have guys that actually have lived and done this and made up the money doing this. And just the knowledge that they have to be a character. And that was big for me, because when I came into the NWA, I had a gimmick.
Right.
I had a gimmick, but I didn't have a character. And gimmick and character, it's two very different things. You know what I mean? I came in and I was like, oh yeah, I'm this, I'm that, and that. But do you truly know why? Who is this? What is it? What are you trying to portray? What are you trying to convey? What's the history behind this character?
Yeah.
And those two things are extremely different. And again, that's kudos to Aaron Stevens, my tag partner when we were champs. Now I don't like him, but that guy, man, that dude has done tremendous things for me as a talent through conversations and actually giving me advice. And I do it in the ring and I'm like, damn, this guy was right again, especially with when I was tagging with him, to be able to learn from him in those moments and see him do what he does in the ring and just watch him and watch the crowd and watch how he controlled the crowd. And things that he would do to manipulate them. And we just had him here. And it was like, it forced me to elevate and be a better talent with him. And then just our relationship outside of that, off camera is truly one of my best friends. And it's just his ability to just give me knowledge and jewels to the game. He is an absolute genius when it comes to this. Another one is, Tyrus,
Yeah.
being able to talk to him coming from a big man standpoint and understand, what you have to do and how to do things and what not to do and, all these things. And it's just like you have all this knowledge back there. Like, and then I see some guys just changing their boots and thinking they got a character when it's your gimmick, bro. Like it's not going to work. And, I don't know, that's just things I see. And then, all the guys there, man, Trevor Murdoch, all those guys. It's just like Tim Storm's another one. Talk about just a good ass human being, dude. Like Jesus. I love it. And then go to Billy. It's like another guy that just, I wish I can say what's going on, but I can't until they announce it. But just to have another one that says, you know what, I see the potential in you and I believe in you. So this is what we're going to do. So it's like having that again, like what we spoke about before, it just motivates the out of you. Like, damn, now I could do some, but it's, NWA is great, man. I'm in a great place. Again, the platform's great. It has wheels. We're going now, again, kudos to what we were talking about. Billy, just a businessman, dude. I mean, look what he did with the Smashing Pumpkins, bro. Like, so many people were like, no. And he just stayed true and stayed the course. And now look.
Oh, that last album was phenomenal.
And what's the trip too is that he owns all that, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what I mean? So,
well, that's what the smart people did. They got their publishing and everything else.
So he sees a vision with NWA, and it's just like, okay, well, you're in the driver's seat, bro. How can your track record speaks for itself? How can we not believe in what you believe in? So it's a great place, man. Again, the talent there is some of the best wrestlers in the world, man. It's crazy. It's
well, and what I dig and what I think, when I do listen to some of the naysayers of it or whatever they've been, with Billy Corgan with the wrestling coming, is the one thing about with musicians, and especially with him, is a guy that's told through his music, through words and music, these stories of tragedies, triumphs. I mean, God, like when we were talking on the regular podcast about, I almost mentioned it, where we want just that validation from that person, that poor guy, and the way his dad was to him and everything else. When he's writing, he literally wrote a song, when it brings in the violins and everything else. And they're like, yeah, we can't get that high. You can't do that. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to challenge you to it. Like the guy has done things that you're not technically supposed to do. And with that, like I see it, there's some things that I wouldn't have done, but when it comes to maybe a story or something like that, but that's also where I understand as a fan, like much like I may not love every song, I'm not going to like every little storyline, or, and you got to try and it's how it is. So I see the intelligence, of someone that knows how to tell a story, and obviously building that team around it to work that.
Yeah.
Because I like that. Like I am and always will be invested in wrestling for a story.
That's it, man. It's the best form of entertainment when done right, like you said earlier, and like I said, Billy, he handpicks the guys. He really sees, if he sees potential in you, he'll put you in the right position to succeed, because not only are you succeeding, but he's succeeding. Businessman, bro. Like, so it's a great place to be, man. And just he knows how to. And what's really cool about him is that what I can say, I'm probably going to get shit for it, but just how he's open to conversation, man. He's not so, this is how it's going to be. He has an idea and he has things that he wants to go his way. But if you're able to tell him, and hey, I got a different way to navigate to that idea. Can we go this way? He's so cool, man. Like we have those conversations and he's open to that. He's not so, my door's closed, I'm the owner. Like, this is the way it's going to be. he's a really cool dude. And again, like I said, man, like you can't not believe in the dude because of what he's done with his career
Yeah.
and how he speaks so passionate about wrestling. It's like it's not he doesn't have to do this, bro. You know what I mean? Like he's one of those guys where it's like, okay, if this was all foolish, in really all honesty, he doesn't have to do this.
Yeah.
Like he's doing it because he wants to see this thing succeed. He loves wrestling. He wants this to succeed just like how he's succeeded as a musician. And it's like, okay, yeah, I can get behind that, bro. I can support that because I have that vision too. So let's go.
And for me, where it lands, NWA lands really well is there's that adage of Eric Bischoff always says this, uh, better than, less than, or different than. And it's different than.
It is.
It's got that cool, like I remember, I grew up in the middle of nowhere. I didn't have cable, but when I got to go to my friend's house and watch cable, and then here we were watching WWF on Sunday mornings, but the night before we might have been watching TBS, and it's got that. See, I don't think it's like, oh, it's just throwbacky or trying to recreate what once was. No, I think that it's just a different presentation that has this really cool feel. Like I like the gritty production.
Yeah.
It makes for me as a fan feel more like I'm sitting there than when something's just HD and I like that too. I'm not knocking it, but I like the different than.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like we always say it too. Like we're not in competition with anybody. You know what I mean? And I think that's a downfall for a lot of people. Like they're always like, well, we can compete with this. In reality, bro, no, you can't.
Yeah.
Like you just can't, bro. So be the best you can be. Just be the best you. That's it. And that's all we're doing. We're offering a different, stage and a different platform. And I truly believe when you look around like the NWA, yeah, there's some guys that need improvement as such as we all, but the ones that walk the aisle in the NWA, I truly believe like, damn, I could really think that dude could really hurt somebody. You know what I mean? They look,
yes,
they're big, they're believable. We have characters. We all can't be lions. Wrestling's a circus, but there's different characters that walk the aisle. And to me, they're all believable. You know what I mean? You watch some other promotions now and it's like, dude, my 12-year-old son can whip your ass. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how is this conveying anything? So it's,
well, and I like to what did Matt Hardy call it? The spot monkeys or what? Like
those things are they're phenomenal athletes.
Yes,
but again, it's like you coming from a wrestling thing. You're not going to be better than a Will Ospreay or Ricochet, dude. Like you're not going to be able to do it better than them. So what else do you have to offer?
Yeah.
Are you going to imitate what those guys do? Because they're the best in the world and they're going to expose your ass once you get out there. So I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like you can do all that flippy shit. I'm just going to punch you in the face because I know no one can hit you as hard as I can. You know what I mean? If I do a flip, it's going to look retarded. But that's just one again of those things, though. Let's not start that now.
Yeah. Well, and for me, it's like, okay. And I love like the lucha style of wrestling, but you want to pull me out of a match real quick? Okay. You and 6 of your friends stand up on the outside while you all look up waiting for the guy to launch off the top of the turnbuckle.
Right.
Like suspend my disbelief. Please. That's what I'm here for. I am with you. I am in it. Like, where like I know one of the things that the moves that I've seen you do sitting pretty close, launching yourself over the ropes outside. And it's like, man, that's some Undertaker right there. But it always made sense. Like, look, give us the damn story, would you?
Yeah.
Like, and it doesn't have to be Hogan Rock, WrestleMania. You got to turn the sound off. That match isn't that great. But they knew how to take the fans and put them in their palm.
Yeah, that's one of the matches where it's just the manipulation that they were able to do to the crowd is, and again, like you watch that, they're not flipping, they're not doing, granted, 20 years of building a name for themselves, and that's who they are, but still, like, to be able to control a crowd like that, and they really didn't do that much, man, and it's like, it goes to show you, what we talk about, like just professional wrestling when it's done right is just so magical. And it's sometimes it gets lost now to where it's all just become like a gymnastic, movie, which
Yeah.
is great. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that, there's 31 flavors of ice cream, you know what I mean? It all sells, but it's from my point of view as a wrestler and growing in this sport, I again cannot be better at moving and flipping than Will Ospreay or Ricochet. So now, what can I do that is different that can put me on the same level as them, but I'm not trying to outdo what they do best. You know what I'm saying? And then if I was in reality, how can we tell a story and make money if
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be you?
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you can do like that 720 like Ricochet, but what it also does is now it's like, well, damn, JR is like 320 pounds. Ricochet ain't so impressive anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that, like, talk about like the Undertaker. I know someone we're both big fans of too. Like with his work, when he did so many, his approach wasn't that he couldn't do some of the things he did later in his career. It just didn't make any sense for the people he was
And
working
again,
with.
too, like speaking of Undertaker, man, now that I'm educated and learning more, he is my ultimate favorite wrestler. And I get for that all the time. Like if I met that dude, I'd freak out.
Yeah, right.
But
Oh, I'm with you.
just his approach to wrestling as his character developed. Like he was able to jump over the top. He was able to do these things, the flying clotheslines, the agility of him, but it wasn't what an Undertaker would do.
Yeah.
So he was able to develop that character and do things different to where the dude now has a 30 plus year career where it's longevity, but at the same time, he studied his craft so much and became such a character that he was able to make money with anybody.
Yeah.
And then throughout his career, that's who everybody wanted to work.
Yeah. Well, and I think you said it earlier too that I hope any aspiring wrestlers picked up on that's not a character, it's a gimmick. It was initially for the Undertaker a gimmick.
Yeah.
He had to figure that character out, and it
Dude,
developed.
what did he say
know?
one time? And I was like, damn, like how dedicated. Like he used to take naps in coffins.
I haven't heard that,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
I would believe
Yes.
it.
Like he used to take naps in coffins. And it's like, dude, talk about like the dedicate, like you're
Yeah.
really putting yourself, you are an Undertaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you are really trying to go into the depths of understanding this character. And those are the things that, again, that so many people just don't do. So many guys don't do because they think a gimmick is enough. And it's like, no.
How do you then? How do you then from the JR I know transform? How do you what is it that you do? Is it watching, very good actors in movies? Is it where are those little maybe nuances when you start to add a new layer?
There is a lot that I do. I even it's even so funny to where I sit in the airport, dude, and you're waiting for flights and I look at people and try to see what kind of mood they're in, or by their facials or their facial expressions, or dude's pissed off, or you see a couple talking, they're like, what are they, just things like that. Show my daughter, like I'm like, I'll take a picture of my facial, I'll be like, what does daddy look like right here? And if it's what I wanted to do, like I'm mad, she'll be like, oh, you look mad. Perfect. She don't know nothing about wrestling, but she can connect to that. You know what I mean? She can connect and see that, oh, he's mad, or he's sad, or he's things like that. And again, going back to how I've been able to elevate, and I'm still elevating it, is having the conversations with the people that have done it.
Yeah.
And the people that you admire and you look at and say, damn, they're really good. How is that? And being able to have that conversation. Tyrus, Aaron Stevens, Trevor Murdoch, all those guys, Ric Flair, Ricky Morton is, one of the guys back there. It's like, those guys,
Damn.
It's like,
I mean, Ricky Morton talked about your facial expression.
Oh my
That
God,
dude would
telling.
have women crying in the front.
Like I hear him, he told me previously at a taping, I wanted to do all this stuff. And it's like, because it was a big match and I felt like, okay, cool, this is where I can. But he's like, he pulled me aside and he's like, if you gave me one punch, I can make this whole place and I could sell that for 10, 15 minutes. And it's like, Yeah, but you're gonna sell it better than this guy will. You know what I mean? So I gotta hit him and then throw him and then but it's just having those kind of guys just make you change your gears and be like, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. This is what it should be. I could do less here for more of a reaction from the crowd because it'll register to them. I'm not just doing a cool move where they're gonna do the conditional, this is awesome,
Yeah.
rather than doing a match and having that. I'll go back to this. You watch I'm a huge my wife gives me shit for it all the time. I'm a huge fan of America's Got Talent. Like I watch that. So yeah, all right. Big old Kratos sitting there. But it's like,
babe, the magicians.
Yeah,
come on.
But you watch them, and it's like talk about emotions and talk about things that you look for, right? My daughter, sorry. When you watch what's conditioned, like, and if you look at it from an audience, like the judges are all going to stand up when it's a good audition. The judges are all going to, when it's a better one and they're all taken and they're like, wow, this is awesome, they're going to hit the golden buzzer, right?
Right.
But when that raw emotion audition comes where the audience doesn't even stand up to the condition, yeah, they're just stuck, like, and it just takes them a moment to register what they just saw, and then they explode with the raw emotion. People are crying, and the judges are just stuck like, what the hell? When they see auditions all day long, and then that one was able to suck them in and bring them into something that all these other auditions haven't, and they're sitting there like they don't even know what to do. That's the kind of stuff and the kind of matches that I want to be able to put on, because wrestling, again, the fans are so conditioned. They're going to see a cool move. This is awesome. Wow, this is great. But when you get that raw emotion where it's like almost that awkward silence, but it's a good awkward silence, and then they erupt, and then they remember, like, God, that shit was so tight. That shit was dope. They're not talking about, yeah, well, that was a cool 450. But who was the guy that did the 450?
Yeah.
They're connected to the character that draw them in. That they're like, goddamn, that Kratos, goddamn, that Aaron Stevens, man, okay, what that raw emotion brings out of them, and that's why I really am like a huge fan of AGT, man. I'm a huge mark for that show, dude, because it's just like I'm able to really see how things manipulate audiences. You know what I mean, and how certain things can draw something out of someone like a Simon. Dude, what a hard ass, you know what I mean? But to see him sometimes just just to be able to draw that out, that's the difference for me and where I am with my character. Like, I want to be able to, when I walk the aisle, convey realism to where it's like, it's a big fight, Phil, and I wouldn't want to with this dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he is really like, wow, we've seen 15 other guys walk the aisle, and what is that?
Yeah.
Like, just the aura, his presence, like everything is just like what we were talking about Undertaker. Like, damn, you really slept in coffins, bro?
Yeah.
Like,
well, it was very like that, like, to go back to that development of a character. At first, to the start of it, it was very Darth Vader, but even Darth Vader evolved,
Yeah.
and I think it's really fascinating that for one, we're in such a society that just rips everything apart and critiques it, as opposed to being able to take and like get something from, I mean, heck, maybe it is a magician that's something about the sleight of hand and it's the face that is used or whatever it is, who knows? There could come a point in your match where it's maybe that brief little comeback thing, you clothesline the out of some dude and it's that look at, you never know what you're going to have to use to tell this story. And that's, for me, again, why I fell in love with it as a kid. And
it's being able to understand the details between everything. And I think that's what, again, what makes Undertaker who he is. Again, what makes another one I really admire and watch is Randy Orton.
Oh,
like, just their timing and their attention to details before he hits the RKO. Like, the things he did in his match that subliminally told you it's coming, but it's not there yet. It's coming. It's not there yet. It's coming there.
Bret Hart was brilliant at that.
Like, all those guys, and those guys really didn't do what you see today. It was just always just put in details, and they just were able to really own their character and pay attention to details before the move was even hit.
Yeah.
Like Stone Cold was another one. Like those guys are just they're characters, man. They were
Yeah.
able to develop that to where it conditioned the fans to know who they were, and they got behind them, and they knew what they were going to do eventually, and they were all just on the edge of their seats just waiting for it to happen.
Yeah. Well, and slow the down,
Oh my
dude.
God, bro.
Like
I'm
so,
300 pounds, man. I'm blown up. I'm going to really hit you if you don't slow down.
I forget who the poor bastard was. It was a clip or something you posted that you suplexed him, and I was like, "Oh fuck, man!" But the good part about it was you didn't like even quickly walk right over because you had to give him time. It looked gnarly, but it wasn't going to be gnarly if he didn't get a chance to sell the impact.
Yeah,
If you just walked right over to him again and tossed the,
yeah, you got
it's
to
like
let everything, you got to let it give it a beat and marinate, man. You
yeah,
know, it's like that's the details, and being able to paint a story on the canvas is being able to let it marinate and let the audience get behind it,
yeah,
you know, and let them emotionally and raw emotion be able to chant one more time because they really want to see it. It's not just conditioned where, you know, it's everything's coming with that raw emotion. Again, that's just letting things marinate. And again, that comes with time and, you know, being coached right and having the right people in your corners. But
yeah. My recollection, even too, of that sequence right there too. I mean, the dude, it looked like it hurt, so he probably was being pretty real to point there. But you also seem to be like a little bit winded, so it's like, oh, he couldn't make the full comeback here in this situation. You can't build those kind of little pinpoint things. It was just,
yeah,
it's like, like what the hell did I just see? Okay,
I was watching something. I actually watched it last night because props to Jacob Fatu.
Oh man,
I'm really happy for you, bro. That's well deserved, and obviously, you know, we know each other, but you know, I just wanted to give you a shout out because I was watching it last night because he was on it. Um, but the story of Paul Heyman and the bloodline, it just goes to where how much thought Paul Heyman is supposed to be this distressed, struggled. He's mentally like not figuring shit out and all this and that. And to be honest, I haven't watched the product in a while, but I watched last night because my buddy was on it. So I got that. I grasped that from Paul Heyman because of the way he looked.
yes,
He had the gray beard out. His eyes were bloodshot. He didn't look like normal Paul Heyman.
yeah,
Like, so I was like, damn, what's wrong with him? Like, I didn't know the story. I didn't know what was going on, but I was able to connect with it just by watching how he prepared himself, how much thought process went into that segment for him to be able to convey that I am stressed. I am tired. I'm confused. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like he looked like it.
yeah,
He didn't just talk like it. And it was just like, damn, like how much thought like just goes into something so simple.
yeah,
But it's the details because
yeah,
again, I haven't watched the product and I was able to understand all that just by watching that last night
yeah,
because of him,
yeah.
because of what he does. And it's just like,
It was, yeah. I mean, and I usually tend to read what goes on in WWE more than watch because, hey, I'm a busy man, much like yourself. But, you have this really great story. The tribal chief, Roman Reigns, he goes away for a while. Condolences to his family, by the way. His
yeah,
dad just
Jesus,
passed.
yes.
Jesus. I mean, it's such a trip to have this family lineage that you and I grew up watching, you've worked with.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to my point. And so it's really interesting how you've taken what Paul Heyman, like this chicken character, but he's got another layer now because he might be chicken, but he's loyal. And now he's gotten his ass beat and put through a table, which looked rough there, Mr. Heyman. But now it's like, oh, we took this story and now it's got new fresh legs. What does it mean when Roman Reigns comes? And it's that kind of stuff that is just like, look, an angle isn't a story. Give me a story. This is a story. This has been going on for over 2 years.
That segment will make you want to tune in next week. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the things that are, and it's just all in the details, like the aura of what those characters are, the aura that those guys portray. Like it's different. Like you could watch 2 hours of wrestling. Like I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch it until it was on, but I was, doing other shit until I saw them. And it's like taking myself outside of knowing Jacob and the reason why I'm watching and just being a fan for that second. It was like, damn, you're watching something different. And it's because everyone's playing their role so good,
Yeah.
and it's like the story's being told. Everyone's playing what they're supposed to play. Paul Heyman is just a genius. Like it's just like it's just good, man, because I don't know. And you think about it too, like how quickly they've put those 4 guys in that position and how much it's just elevated everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so good on them, man. Like
Hell yeah.
it was good. It was a good segment last night. But going to what we were talking about, like those little details, like Paul Heyman, I was like, damn. Like those are little things so many guys miss. Like they want to go out there and, look cool and do all this, but your story's not, you're not conveying the story in just that simple little detail that'll make it so much more massively. Being able to understand it and the crowd will understand, like, yeah, I remember when I was going through, I'd look like that too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like my eyes were fucked. I didn't shave for a couple of days. I was so stressed, and
Real
he looked
emotion.
stressed out.
Yeah. 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 So
Yeah.
yeah, play the part, man.
Yeah.
Play the damn part. How should we finish up? I mean, I don't know. You've been on probably a few of these wrestle chat type of situations, but Mount Rushmore of wrestlers for you. We gotta
Oh,
close with that.
oh,
Everybody always debates the Mount Rushmore.
uh, Taker, Flair, Randy Orton. Damn.
It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah. Because it's like, I like everyone for different reasons. But yeah, it'd be Taker, Flair, Orton, Dusty, and Andre, probably.
All right.
That'd probably be my.
We threw a couple extra on, but you're Mount
Yeah.
Rushmore. Hey, look, I've known you for about a decade, buddy. I ain't gonna tell you how many
Yeah.
people you can have on your Mount Rushmore.
Mine's a little bigger.
That's funny because Dusty Rhodes, another one of my favorite. All of the Rhodes boys, actually. I mean, it's still a dream for me to be able to have Dustin and talk with him because I admire him so much.
Dude, that's another guy probably that I
recovery.
would love to, because again, a guy that I have not heard one negative thing about his story, and two, just his knowledge, man. Like his knowledge of the game is, from what I hear from people speak of him, it's like you would want to have that conversation, because speaking to a person like that, you'd walk away better. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, he was on Chris Van Vliet's show not that long ago, and I've had Chris on, and I just sent Chris a message like, "Hey, thanks," because I've been wanting to talk with Dustin about recovery, and he was like, "It's the thing I'm the most proud of. Here's the reality," and it was like, I may never get that opportunity, but you doing that, thank you, because that was someone that inspired me.
yeah, and he's doing what he loves to do, and he came out of it, and he's
like still the best spinning power slam in the biz. Sorry.
But that's another thing too, where you go, like, granted, he is who he is, and he's built that for years. But you watch him, how he's able to manipulate a crowd, man. Go out there and tell a story, and it's like his crowd reactions are still better than anybody else's when he's in a match. It's like it's because he's able to tell a story with, he's again one of the guys I would love to have a conversation with.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. Yeah,
Look at his dad. Like his dad wasn't yoked up, wasn't six packed out, wasn't. He looked like just a regular dude, but he was able to get into his character, and he was able to convey realism, and people got behind him, and he understood where his position was. He understood his character, and he used it to draw people in. And,
when he dropped the bionic elbow, baby, and he did his little dance, because Cassie's like my girlfriend. I put on I think his A&E or whoever had the really good 2-hour documentary on Dusty Rhodes on there. She's like, "Oh my God, I get why you love this guy so much." I'm like, even as a kid, that when I got into wrestling, it was my dad's aunt, although she wasn't actually his aunt by blood. But I went down to San Luis Obispo with my dad, stayed with them, and she broke out all the stuff. And I got to see on VHS Hard Times and that thing. And
Yeah.
I'm 6.
Yeah.
And it helped me understand, like, oh, my dad's a truck driver. He's gone all the time. He's working hard, but we never miss a meal. And we live in a very nice home. And it's like, oh, like it made sense. I was a
Yeah.
little kid and he knew just how to communicate. And that's it.
That's it, man. Like he spoke real. Like people were able to relate. And he didn't need to be all jacked up and do all that. He he was great, man. I watch his promos now and just the way he delivers and his delivery and what he spoke about. And it's very relatable, and it was perfect for him because that was his character. So yeah, Dusty's definitely one up there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing the bare knuckle fighting, and of course, NWA. What with we'll start with the bare knuckle fighting. What challenges there are you looking forward to, and then with NWA wrestling, what kind of challenges would you like to see come about there too? I mean, some different type of character approach or anything, but start with the fighting.
For bare knuckle, I just honestly I wanted to challenge myself. I've always wanted to be in a competition, competitive fighting platform, and I just thought this is a great opportunity because now what I wanted to do and what I told him is I want to fight as Kratos. So it's going to be pretty cool to be able to
Bobby Lashley.
Yeah. Scratch both backs from a business standpoint and do it that way. But just to challenge myself, man. I always love a good challenge. So whoever they put in front of me, it's gonna be fun. I'm really looking forward to that. But with NWA, it's just to be world champion. I mean, I'm in this to be the best, man. So whether it be with Odinson, the NWA World Tag Team titles, or go after EC3 and become the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, those are my goals on this platform for sure.
Yeah. My brother, appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Love you, man. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you.